Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I am your host, and I have it says I have a poor network connection. I hope that's not the case. Come on. But anyway, I have a really special guest on, a good friend of mine. He's been a client of mine, and we've just, every time we talk, we end up talking forever. This guy is a real, true entrepreneur. He's a hunter.
Oh, geez.
I'm just going to throw that out there. But anyway, I'd like to welcome Matt Smith to the show. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing, man?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I'm very excited to have you on. And hang on, I got to make one quick adjustment here.
Cool.
So, hey, Melissa Burrow is in the house. Welcome, Melissa. So, I told you I created this show. It's more than just getting attention. It's really about trying to help people get unstuck in life.
Sure.
And I've had the blessing of interviewing now over 130 entrepreneurs and celebrities, and it's pretty incredible, some of the stories that I've heard.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited to hear yours, man. How I know that it hasn't always been easy for you.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, how far back you want me to start?
Dude, well, let's start with where you were born and raised.
I was born in Flint, Michigan. Probably known for some of the best water in the country. I'm kidding.
Okay.
If you guys know anything about Flint, the water's horrible there. And so, growing up, my parents were divorced. They divorced at one. Lived with my mom basically my whole life. My dad was an alcoholic, raging alcoholic, never held a job. Visited him on the weekends kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so kind of grew up with that whole like lower middle class with my mom, really poor with my dad. And just going through it, right? And so we, when I was in the 6th grade, we moved to a different town, and I made friends with this kid that lived on this lake next to me, and his dad was an entrepreneur, and he was heavy into real estate, a lot of rental properties. He flipped houses, he owned a restaurant, and he was kind of the father figure in my life. And it's honestly who I give all the credit to this day of why I am the way I am, the way I think, everything.
Wow.
And so it was just powerful growing up around somebody like that. In the 7th grade, every single day, somebody telling you like, hey, in the beginning, you're going to have to work hard for money, but very quickly you need to figure out how to make money work hard for you. And so, as a 7th grader, learning those kind of things that I would have never been taught in school, I very quickly started to think differently.
Yeah.
And it made me realize what I was learning in school wasn't going to apply to what I was going to do. And I became a very poor student. Not something I'm proud of, stressed my mom out like crazy. But I just knew that I was different than all the other kids. Like I had this tool that nobody else had, right?
What was the tool?
Knowledge.
Love
I understood that I understood that there was a different path.
Yeah.
My entire life, my entire family, my mom, my aunts, my uncles, every time we go over for Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving, I was getting the talk from all of them that, hey, you got to do better in school. You want to go to college? Do you want to make something of yourself? The whole BS, theory that if you don't go to school that you're not going to make it. And I was just lucky enough to be able to break through that mindset.
Well, let me ask you this though. So did you meet this guy in 7th grade? This was your friend's father.
Yeah. Yep.
And you met him when you were in 7th grade.
Yeah. So when I moved, he was one of the first friends I made.
Wow.
Probably a God thing, but yeah. And he taught us a lot of lessons. Like they lived on the lake. We loved going out in the boat. We go tubing when we were young. It's like the dream for a kid.
Yeah.
But he never let us do it unless we did something to earn it.
Right.
Whether that be going to one of his rental properties to fix something or digging out sprinkler lines or working hard. And it was funny because some of the neighborhood kids' parents would get upset that he would make the kids work before they could do something.
Right.
Because it was kind of free slave labor. But I recognized early on that he was teaching us a lesson,
Wow.
Yeah, nothing comes easy, man. So
Right? Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth? So you were. So what is that? 12 years old,
Young.
13?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So here you are, 12, 13 years old, and at that age, because I have a 12-year-old that'll be 13 in
Yeah.
a couple of weeks, and they have a tendency of already knowing everything,
Yeah.
like I did, right? I
Yep.
had that. I'm sure I knew everything back then. Did you have that about you?
I felt like I was more mature than most kids my age because of my dad. I had that kind of every other weekend thing that I would always go experience,
Yeah.
and it made me grow up.
Yeah.
So although, yeah, I probably did. But there was also a part of me that knew that there was a different part of life most kids didn't know existed.
Right.
And I knew that I didn't want anything to do with it when I got older.
Right. Right.
Yep.
So you ended up, and where was this? This was in Flint?
Flint. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we moved to a small town where I still live, actually, Linden, Michigan.
Okay.
It was like, I don't know, 4,000 people here.
Okay. Yeah, that's small.
So, yeah, small, but good place to be.
Yeah, sure. So, so you were in Linden. Is that close to Flint?
Yeah, about 20 minutes south.
Oh, okay. So you're still in the Flint area.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, so you are, and you went to high school there, I assume.
Yep.
Did you graduate high school?
I did.
Okay.
Barely, but I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you didn't go to college.
So my first year, I went to community college for a half a year. Kind of a funny story. I was going to go for a business degree of some sort at community college. And I'm in this marketing class, and this professor is teaching us about marketing. And I don't know, man. I talk about awareness a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, this guy's full of crap. And so, like, I raised my hand, and I said, hey, I'm just curious, what businesses have you built, or what businesses do you own?
Right.
And he's like, well, I've never built or owned a business.
What?
And I remember going home that day and telling my mom, like, hey, I'm not going to school anymore. Like, I'm done. And that was the last day I went to school.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Because I just realized, right? Like, you realize you're learning from someone who hasn't done what you want to do.
Right.
And so what I did was I took that money that I would have spent on college, and I started taking people out to breakfast and paying them to coach me, and specifically people in the service industry that had guys that had businesses doing $12 million a year.
Yeah.
It was just invaluable. I mean, you can't get that kind of education anywhere else.
Yeah. Wow. So, and it's, so at some point, I'm wondering, like, by the way, the Facebook algorithm is acting really crazy with the software lately. Just so you know. Like, it says there's 0 people on here. That's insane. I mean, we'll have replay viewers, but that's crazy to me. So you went to, so you went to, how long was it? What, a few months, couple months?
Handful
and you're
months.
like, this is a joke.
Yeah.
That's real, dude. That's really intuitive though at that age. Like, most people that age don't think like that.
Yeah. Friends were often went away to school, right?
Yeah.
And I just realized, like, I was really bad in high school, so I had no reason to believe I'd be any better in college. But I was doing it honestly for my mom, because that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
And I just realized, like, I don't know, at some point, man, it's your life, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. So you started, did you get into business for yourself then, or what?
I did. So at that same time, as when I was a senior in high school, I was helping this guy cut grass. Mm-hmm. I was basically like his assistant, weed whacking, and I'm watching him, how he's talking to customers and how he's bidding lawns and how he's marketing. And I'm like, man, I can do that. And so as a senior, I went out and I got all the equipment and, the whole shebang. And I had started a lawn care business when I was 18 years old. And so that was a big reason why I quit college, because I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to grow this thing. Wow. There's no sense of going to school. And so that's what I did for a couple of years, and I sold it to a local competitor, not for a lot of money, but for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then kind of the turning point in my life was I was about 20 years old. I was in a pretty dark place. I mean, wild child, partying, drinking,
Yeah.
Honestly, not really realizing it, but like on the path to like destruction if I didn't figure it out.
Right.
And I had a pretty bad anger problem, which I think probably rooted from my childhood a little bit with my dad. But
Sure.
I went and I started some MMA classes, mixed martial arts, because I was like getting in fights and like stupid crap. And the guy that was teaching it was a Christian.
Yeah.
And long story short, he invited me over to his house. He did like personal training and with very small groups. I was pretty athletic.
Yeah.
And so I'm sparring with these guys, and 6 months later, I give my life to the Lord. I start going to church, and my whole life drastically changes. I stopped drinking. I haven't drank since.
Wow.
And just crazy life change stuff happened to me. And I believe like it was totally a God thing that intervened at that time. Because if not, man, like drinking and driving and just like bad stuff.
Right.
How
old were you?
I was about 20.
And hold it, you had already owned a business and sold it?
Yeah, when I was 20 years old, I sold it because when I kind of had this life change, I thought I might want to go into ministry. Like it changed my life so drastically. I was like, man, maybe I want to go into ministry.
Wow.
So I went to school for that, and I actually got basically an associate's degree in that to become a pastor. Very quickly realized that wasn't my calling. Business was my calling.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did it.
Hey, we just had a celebrity join the stream. Somebody named Madison Smith.
Oh boy.
Yeah. You know her?
Maybe. Maybe. I know of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a pretty big Instagram following, I heard.
Yeah, she does. Doing something right.
So you decided that ministry wasn't for you.
Right.
So did you turn your back on the church?
As a career, it wasn't for me.
Right. I'm just playing.
Yeah, no, I know. No, it was the right choice, you know?
Yeah. So you, what was next? What was next in business for you?
Well, I had no money. I was broke, like really broke.
But you sold your business.
Yeah, not for a lot though.
Oh. Gotcha.
Yeah, not for a lot. And I spent money on school. I did an internship. And, over a year or two, you can lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I had like $1,000, $1,500 to my name.
Right.
And so I went out and I said, what can I start for about that price? And so I started a window cleaning business. Not sexy at all, not impressive. I bought some tools from Home Depot. I got a lease truck that was a zero down, so I didn't need any money for that.
Right.
And I just knew like, hey, in 30 days from now, I got to make my truck payment. And I started a company called The Dirt Hunter.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that business is 5 years old now and much, much, much larger than it was when I started.
Like way larger.
Yeah.
Like you're doing $1 trillion a year in business.
1 trillion.
Why would you want to do $1 trillion when you could do $1 million?
Yeah.
So, sorry. That's that Dr. Evil thing. So, so let's talk about that though, because I do know your business does incredibly well. I mean, for a window cleaning business, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
You're in the top 0.5% probably in the world. But but let's talk about when it started, because I can totally relate to that. Totally relate to it. So when you started this, somebody says mad respect for you. I watch you like an idol and learn so much from your videos, etc. Todd Michael says that.
Cool, right on.
Yeah. So I think he's talking about you.
Probably the YouTube channel, I'm guessing.
That's awesome, man. So he should watch my videos too. I'm kidding. So I'm just kidding. So you I want to talk about that though. So because I did a live video last night where I said I can't believe how many people are literally like in total planning mode for 2019, and there's still 26 days left in 2018. Like,
sure,
that's 1/12 of the year is still left, y'all. Like, it's not over. Like you
Hmm.
got to keep pushing, man. So when when you started this, you had a truck payment due in 30 days. And I'm sure it wasn't $150.
Yeah.
It was probably much more than that. And you're like, I gotta make this work now.
Yeah.
And you probably had an awesome website and huge marketing budget and plan in place, right?
Yeah. Something like that.
Right, right. So you didn't have all that stuff. So what did
Yeah.
you do? Grassroots. What grassroots stuff did you do?
Yeah. So I teach a lot of guys this that don't have any money. I went out and I had a postcard designed for me, a little 4x6 postcard that I could print 2,000 of them for a couple $100.
Yeah.
And what I would do is it would say our service, all of our information. I would handwrite the price of what a house would cost. And I would walk neighborhoods and I'd put these on every front door. I mean, I would do thousands of these a month by hand. And I did that for 2 years straight. And I just realized, the more I could put out, the more calls that were coming in. And so, I mean, literally doing this 60 hours a week as much as possible. Print marketing postcards were by far, door to door, man.
Right.
And it sucked. Like I talk to guys that do it now and they're like, they do it for 1 month or if that. And they're like, man, it takes too long. It's too hard. Like people yell at me on the front door. It's like, and
Yeah.
like that's what, and so that's what I did for 2 years straight, literally, because I didn't have enough money.
Right.
I didn't have money for AdWords and Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Right.
So I just hit the pavement.
And people don't get that, dude. Like they
No.
just don't get. That's what I did, right?
Yeah.
But I've hired salespeople to work for me, and they're like, I'm not going door to door. Where's my leads?
Yeah.
I'm too professional. I'm a professional salesperson. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, dude, no, you're not. If you're
Yeah.
not willing to go door to door, that means
Yeah.
you're an order
Right.
taker.
Right.
Like, right? So, like, go to McDonald's. Do you want fries with that? So, like, hey, Larry, how you doing? Thanks for jumping in here. Share this out, you guys, if you guys would. And that includes Madison Smith. She's a distant family member or something, right?
I better be careful. She'll kill me.
No, I love you guys. So the point I want to make behind that is, well, I'm going to let you make it. When you started this whole thing, the Dirt Hunter, and is that the name you came up with like that, or you just thought I'm going to call it Matt's window cleaning?
My wife came up with it.
Did she really?
She did.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man.
I better give her the credit if she's watching this.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling she can probably find you. So she came, and my wife came up with the name of this show. So
Yep.
hey, we both married up, right?
That's right.
But you started this, and I want to make this point. Was there any guarantees that you were going to be successful?
No.
No.
At all.
Did you have a salary?
I paid myself $12,000 the first year.
So you were killing it.
Dude, I was killing it.
Oh,
Meanwhile, a lot of my friends are getting out of college, right?
Right.
And making $60,000 a year.
right.
And I'm knocking on doors and then I'm laying in bed at night wondering, oh crap, what did I do?
Right.
Just
Wonder
being
if they'll
honest.
let me out of this truck lease early.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, seriously though.
No, I know. I get
Yeah.
it. So you made $12,000 your first year, which may be more than I made in my first year. I'm just going to be honest. So
Yeah.
but you made $12,000 in your first year. You get night terrors.
Oh yeah.
I've been there too.
Yeah.
And you are like thinking, God, help us.
Yeah.
Like, so what transpired? What happened from there? So you started getting some calls, you got the jobs, obviously you got some money, you got cash flow going. What happened from there?
Yeah, so we get through year one barely. Honestly, my wife was by far like the biggest encourager of all that. Probably without her, I don't know if I'd have kept going.
Wow.
Because I had a lot of negativity behind me with my mom, and I love her to death, but she just didn't understand. She didn't come from that. so just a lot of, I think, fear on their side.
Right.
But we got through year one, and I remember at the end of the year, we did 43,000 in sales. Paid myself 12 grand out of that. And I
Wow.
remember saying to myself, like, man, this is like year two, something bigger has got to happen, or else I'm going to go find a job somewhere.
Right.
And so we ended up doing close to 150,000 in sales the next year. And I started to see, still wasn't a lot, but I started to see what it could be.
Right.
We had one or two employees, and I said, man, if I can systemize this and start to scale it, I can make some real money.
Right.
And so it was that second year where I started to see the potential of the business, where I wasn't wearing every single hat inside the company.
Right.
I was still working hard. I was still working 60, 70 hours a week, not spending money on anything, living in a crack house. It looked like just bad. Right. But I was like, man, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel if we can just suffer a little longer and stick with it.
And the whole way your wife was like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm into this suffering. It's good.
Well, yeah, but I think it was mostly because she knew I'd be miserable doing anything else.
Yeah. Dude, that's so awesome.
For sure.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is so important to have the right person next to you. It's so important. Like
100%.
yeah,
Oh,
and
gosh.
that's incredible. And by the way, she did just share this out, so thank you for that,
Jeez,
Madison.
about time.
I know, I just saw it. She was probably thinking, well, let me see if this is going to be good or not before I share this to my timeline.
That's true.
So now, if she tags us on Instagram, we might pick up some extra followers.
Listen, we might be famous by the end of the day.
Yeah, because she has a massive Instagram following. So my wife is on here too. She just shared it out. So
Sweet.
so at year two, you did 150 grand in sales. You probably made a little bit more than 12,000.
I think 25.
What's that?
I think we made 25 that year.
Yeah. You're living in a crack house.
It looked like it, man. It was wild.
So, but you're still doing grassroots, because I remember you and I met 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were very, I don't want to say you were tight or cheap, but because you weren't, but you were very money conscious. Like, dude, we only have X amount of a budget and we got to stick within that. And I've looked up to you in that regard, like the way that you just are so focused on every single penny that comes in and goes out. Like, you're really watching it. You watch it carefully. So, and how long have you been doing it now?
This is our 5th year.
5th year. Okay. So yeah, I guess I met you right about that 2-year mark or so.
Yeah, probably year 2 or 3.
And so what started happening? Because I know that you did way more than 150 grand in sales. So
Yep.
What started happening from that point?
Well, the reason the business grew so fast was because I paid myself very, very little for 3 years.
Yeah.
And what I did was every single penny the business made, I reinvested it back into marketing. And so going into the end of year 2, year 3, I was starting to be able to pay for things like Google AdWords and have a decent ad spend and, buy a nice website and all the stuff that a business that, is growing fast needs.
Right.
And so the reason we are where we are is because I sacrificed my pay and put it all back into the company.
Right.
And honestly, I still do it. Like, I still don't pay myself what I could,
Right.
because I want the business to grow.
Right.
And so hands down, I see it every single day when I talk to people. People are suffocating their company because they're pulling all the cash out for themselves. Then they're saying they don't have any money for marketing. Well, it's because they're not willing to sacrifice, the first couple of years of their business,
Right.
And pay themselves very little and live on nothing. Because that's what it takes, man. It's just at the end of the day, like, if you don't do that, you will never grow a big business, period.
Amen, dude. Amen to
So-
that. I agree with you. So you obviously, for the last 5 years, and I mean, you're still pretty young. I mean,
28.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah.
28. Jeez. You're half my age almost. Whatever.
I feel old, but I know I'm not, but I feel it.
Whatever, man.
I
So
know. I know.
wait till you get to 50 and you go,
Yeah.
"Oh my God." So, you've done a lot of very smart things with your business, including sticking to a lot of the grassroots stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you still, I don't know if you do it now, but I know just as early as a year or so ago, you were still going out to most jobs or a lot of them doing the quotes yourself. You're not looking for ways to delegate the work. You're actually doing a lot of it.
Some of it I am. I would say this year has been a huge year for me to be freed up from a lot of it. And with that, I've been able to start other things.
Yeah.
I knew that the Dirt Hunter wasn't my long-term forever business.
Yeah.
It was going to help me get to the next thing I wanted to do.
Right.
And it's taken care of our family. It's been awesome, right?
Yeah.
And whatever. But this year has been like a total freedom year for me.
Wow. That's awesome.
Working very few hours a week on the business. It's not perfect. I'm still in there doing stuff I don't want to do, but it's compared to year 1 and 2, holy cow.
Yeah, right.
Life change.
I mean, you have a professional microphone and stuff now.
I mean, I'll tell you what, you buy one of these little pop filters and you're like, you're legit.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like a regular Sean Hannity over there or something. So you have, I know that a lot of people in the service industry and service businesses reach out to you, and you've got a big YouTube channel with a couple, 2,000 or 3,000 followers there, and you're putting out a lot of content. And you and I've talked about this off screen a lot,
Yeah.
right? And how you can help more people. And you're building other businesses too. I mean, let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I guess we can backtrack a little bit. So about a year and a half ago, I started a YouTube channel. And honestly, I did it out of a little bit of frustration. I was seeing a lot of guys take advantage of people, selling them something that wasn't real, claiming they could help them do something they've never done. And so I said, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel for home service business providers, and I'm going to give away free content and teach people things that have helped me. Maybe I can help some people. And what that turned into was people reaching out, wanting one-on-one coaching. And what I ended up doing was I started a whole new company called Service Industry Marketer. And what we do is we literally implement the systems and marketing strategies that we have in my service business into other home service companies. Right. And so people come to us at, they either want to scale, maybe they're stuck, or maybe they're just getting started. And we literally just do the exact things that I did in my business. And it's just wild, man. Like it's just a proven system that works. I mean, we've helped companies this year that their first year they're doing $20,000 a month. Right. I did $40,000 my first year. So it's just, if I knew everything back then that I knew now, I would be light years ahead. And I just wanted to help people avoid a lot of the hurdles I had to go through.
And and we don't have to get into what you charge for your consulting services, but you've told me, and I'm like, dude, you need to like triple that rate.
I know.
And you're like, what? And I quadruple it. Like what you're doing for people, and I would assume that if people these service industry businesses listen to you and actually implement what you teach them, there is 100% chance that they're going to be more successful.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like you're taking guys that are doing, maybe $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month and turning them into a $20,000 a month company. And that's worth a lot of money. You should be charging them a lot of money.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm right. You should. You should.
Yeah.
Let me set your prices.
Hey man, have at it.
So I think that, again, these guys are there are certain people in this world, you being one of them, that figure out some secrets to the recipe of success in a business, at least, right?
Yeah.
And when you're willing to go out there and share it, and I know you share a lot of free information too.
Yeah.
That you don't charge for, that people could definitely benefit from. So let me ask you this. Along the way, over the last couple of years, I know you've been doing the coaching or however you define it for the past couple of years or year and a half, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And you talk to a lot of people. I know that too.
Yep.
And you see people that are stuck, right?
Sure.
Some are stuck at probably hundreds a month.
Yep.
Some are stuck at 1,000, 2,000 a month. Don't know what to do. Don't know where to turn. And so they reach out to you. What is one of the number one things that you find that keep people stuck?
Couple things. First thing is people need to find someone that has done what they're trying to do. Whether that's me or somebody in your town. That's what I did, man. That's like, I met with a guy every single month. I took him out to breakfast. He owned a pest control business here in Michigan, $12 million a year.
Wow.
And like just really tried to model his business the best I could. And really being around somebody that was at that level, I started to realize like, wow, that's actually possible. Right. So that's number one. Number two, like I said earlier, not starving your company and putting all the money back into it to grow it. And the last thing I would say is being focused and not veering from what you're doing. I see too many people jumping around, whether that be jumping around different businesses or jumping around different marketing tactics. Yeah. You got to be consistent and stick to what you're doing and do it for a long time. Like I'm not talking like 3 to 6 months. I'm talking like 3 years. You know what I mean? And so those would be the top three things that I would probably say.
Wow. So what's the number one thing?
Focus. You can't be, I mean, as an entrepreneur, we have new ideas every day. I suffered from this. This is why I know this.
Yeah.
I've earlier in my years, earlier in my years, I was the guy that could jump from business idea to business idea. And then one day I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like you're really good at talking about business, but you really suck at it because you haven't done anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's when I said like, no, you're going to put your head down. You're not going to think about anything else for 3 years. And then we're going to see where we're at. And when I did that, it was crazy what happened. And it wasn't always fun. In fact, it got boring because doing the same thing over and over and over is boring. Yeah. But you got to be disciplined, man. Like if you're not disciplined, you just won't make it.
So how important is, I mean, in your opinion, again, this is all about your opinion, how important is having the ability to sell?
I think honestly, it's really important. But more important is being able to have perceived value. So when somebody calls your business or sees a marketing piece or whatever the case is, it's important to make your business feel a lot bigger than it actually is. And we're not lying. Right. We're just, when they touch one of your postcards, when they see one of your Facebook ads, when they call your office and someone answers the phone, you're just doing it at such a higher level than everybody else that you have this perceived value. And I found that we were able to charge more because of that. We would go and quote houses, and we would have these full page, glossy, high, full color estimate sheets. We'd price them for all of our services, not just the ones they asked for. Right. When my competitor would be right next to me and would be half the price, and we would still win 8 out of the 10 quotes. And so perceived value is by far the most important thing. And of course, you got to be good with people. You got to know how to sell. But I realized that, hey, if I can market the business well and we have good perceived value, the business almost sells itself.
Right. So quality.
Yeah.
I read a book called Delivering Happiness, which is written by Tony Hsieh, who's the CEO of Zappos. Yeah. And have you read that book?
No.
It's an amazing book, and he talked about in there that, and this is what I've always tried to deliver is, and look, nothing's perfect ever.
Sure.
But and that is an experience that's second to none when it comes to customer experience, right?
Yeah.
You can call me at 11 o'clock at night, and there's a pretty good chance I'm going to answer the phone.
Sure.
And there's not many companies in my industry, if any others, in at least where I am, that will do that and actually take care of a problem for you. So, he talks about in that book that like their customer service at Zappos is second to none. Like you can call and go, hey, I live in Flint, Michigan, and I'm kind of new to the area, and I don't know where to order a pizza. And the customer service rep at Zappos will literally Google it for you and order it for you if you want.
Yeah.
To have it delivered to your home.
Yeah, that's funny. I've heard Andy Frisella talk about that. I don't remember the exact thing, but something like somebody called him and needed help selling a car or finding a part for a car. Yeah. And they're like, well, we're not a car shop, but we'll find it for you.
Yeah.
And they did, man. Like they just went above and beyond.
That's what it takes, man. I mean, I truly do believe that, Now, there is a certain point, I think, that you have to, like, not be abused.
Of course.
but
course.
People need to know that you're willing to go all in, go all the way in and help anybody with anything. So, if somebody were to call you and say, and I'm sure you've had this call, I know I have, somebody called you and said, hey, man, look, I can't pay my bills. My electric's being shut off tomorrow. My car was repossessed last week.
Yeah.
I'm broke. I don't know what to do. I don't have 2 pennies to rub together. I'm lost.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you're going to say to that person, that business owner? Because I've been there, dude. I had a car repossessed in front of all my employees one time. That was fun.
Sure.
That was awesome. What a great day. But, and again, everything's a learning experience, but still, what do you say to that person that's just completely lost and they can't figure it out?
I mean, I get people all the time that say, hey, like, I literally don't have any money to market my business and we are dead slow.
Right.
So I'll just give practical advice what I would do. I'd go get a night job.
Yeah.
And I would be working from 6 p.m. till whenever. And then I would be going to sleep and sleeping 4 hours and waking up in the morning and growing my business.
Right.
And I would do that for as long as I had to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just the reality of it. So there's no fancy answer, man. It's just you do whatever you have to do.
People aren't willing to do that, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just not. I mean, there's some are, but sure. But a lot aren't.
Yeah. Most aren't. Yep.
Yeah. So have you hit $1 million a year yet?
Not yet. But we're close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleaning windows.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Dude.
There's nothing worse than cleaning windows.
Huh?
There's nothing worse than cleaning windows.
I know.
Gosh, man.
But dude, like, I know, and again, like, it's insane. You're close to $1 million a year cleaning windows. And you started with a no money down truck lease, a few tools that you picked up at Home Depot.
Yeah.
And just grassroots going door to door for a couple of years.
Yeah, and to be honest, with my marketing company, that's my main focus now. It's something I'm good at, something I'm passionate about. I wake up every day excited to do it because I like helping people. We have a product and service that we know works.
Yeah.
And so if I wasn't focused on that, the Dirt Hunter would grow much, much faster than it even is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just important. There's a fine line to, I hear there's a lot of, you hear Gary Vaynerchuk talk about this a lot, like doing what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I like that. But I think there's a fine line. Because there was a lot of other things that would make me a lot more happier than knocking on doors 60 hours a week, right?
And cleaning windows.
For sure, man. Like, I felt like the scum of the earth. I mean, I would go in customers' houses sometimes, and people would say, so what's your real job? Like you're the low of the low, right? And so just pushing through that, and it just is what it is.
What's your real job?
Yeah, man, you're a window cleaner.
What'd you say?
This is my real job.
What'd they say?
Some people don't think, before they talk.
Well, like, can you also clean our bathroom while you're here?
Yeah, exactly. But people don't realize, people don't realize, hey, you can grow a multi-million-dollar company doing this.
Right.
There's a good chance I probably make more money than you do.
Me?
No,
Oh,
the people saying that
them.
to me.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And so it's like,
yeah,
yeah, you have to block out the negativity.
you do.
It just doesn't matter.
What does? What matters
Yeah, I think that's different for everyone.
for you?
A lot of things, man. Like I don't want my kid to grow up having to ever worry about money like I did.
Yeah.
Like money was a scarce thing when I was young. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like I had everything that I needed. My grandparents were around. They had a little bit of money, but it was very known that, hey, man, we don't have a lot of money. I don't want my kid to have to grow up like that. I want to be able to give my family what they deserve.
Yeah.
And that's just a financial side of things. There's a lot of other stuff as well.
So you have like, so when you started this, you had your wife and your child.
No, our kid's only a year and a half old now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I wanted you to say it.
No, no. And I've heard, and people have said that to me. Well, you don't understand. I have a kid.
Yeah, when you
All right.
didn't have a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Now you understand.
Yeah. Now I understand.
Right.
Just an
Well,
excuse.
your child is also famous.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I know, right? I can
Especially
relate
in
to
today's
that.
world.
What's
It's a little
that?
scary. I said, especially in today's world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good news is I think you own some firearms, so
I do.
So, what's the number one, Larry Schneider says, for a price, I'll clean anything. So, right.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, you've done gutter stuff, you've done all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we're like an exterior cleaning company now, so we do pressure cleaning, gutter cleaning, roof cleaning.
Yeah. How can they get a hold of you if they want their windows or gutters cleaned?
Go to thedirthunter.com.
Thedirthunter.com.
Yep.
Perfect. So what's the, I guess for somebody that's maybe thinking about starting a business or they're stuck right now, and what's the biggest piece of motivation you would give them? Motivational advice.
For sure, know 100% that you want to do it, and understand that if you do it, it's going to get harder for a while before it gets easier.
Right.
I just don't feel like there's enough people out there telling the real side of starting a business.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, I see Facebook ads all the time, people working from beaches and off their laptops, and it's just not real. Like, it's just not how it works. And so if you're going to start a business, understand that, hey, you're going to suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
And that probably doesn't sound very motivating, but it's just the truth.
It
And
is
so
the truth.
if you're strong-minded and you're able to get through that, then you'll win.
Yeah. And it takes time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I was talking to a friend of mine and I did a live stream about this last night. And this guy is a doctor. He's an eye doctor. Has 8 or 9 or 10 practice locations now.
Wow.
And we were talking about, I mean, I've been doing what I do for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's still times when it's like, because along the way you make bad decisions, you try different things that end up costing you a crazy amount of money. And and so him and I were talking the other night, and he has a ministry, he's got a Christian ministry and practice that he started in Jamaica to help the needy. And he sent me this thing, and I have it up on my screen. I can't show everybody right now, but it's called the Plateau of Latent Potential. And it's literally like our expectations when we start something, whether it's a business or a sales job or whatever, are on this line that's a straight line to the top, right? What actually happens is you've got this straight line and then this curve of what actually happens, right? And in between that is called the period of time, which I believe can it can reoccur is
Yeah.
called the Valley of Disappointment. And that's the gap between what we think should happen and what actually does happen, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, it's like going out. And again, like when you make your first sale, it's like, oh my God, I just made my very first sale with this idea, the name my wife came up with, and now we're out hunting dirt,
Yeah.
Like, and so, and then you watch it and it turns into this amazing thing. It's kind of like a child, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Except for the child is way more fulfilling.
Well, it's funny is I use that line when I fire employees. I say, hey, this business is like my child.
Right.
And it's my job to protect it
Exactly.
from people like yourself that are trying to kill it.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing, man.
It's a real thing. And I've had that so many times, people that think they're worth way more than they actually are. And like, that makes me insane. And I'm not saying people are worthless. I'm saying there are people that are, they put in half-heartedly will put in 35 hours a week and think they deserve, $100,000 a year. And it's like,
sure.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, go put in 80 hours a week for a few years and, or hey, better yet, take that work ethic and become my competitor so I can crush you.
Sure. Please.
Because you won't outwork me, I promise that.
Yeah.
So and that's another thing that a lot of business owners don't get is when you start hiring people or you have subcontractors, it can really be challenging.
By far the hardest part of owning a business for me at this stage is employees.
1,000% agree.
And I'm not sure, the majority of the people we hire are lower paid employees, right?
Yeah.
$20 an hour or less. Yeah. And so that whole mentality is a totally different mindset anyway. Yeah. But I think across the board, regardless of what you do, that is by far the biggest challenge.
Sure. Yeah. $20 an hour is not bad money, dude.
Well, yeah. Remember that part where you just said that people think they deserve more?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, I should get $50 an hour to clean windows, dude.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's a dirty job.
Jeez, oh, Fitz. Don't even get me going.
Dude, you got to talk about it, man. See, if you share the good, you double it. If you share the pain, you cut it in half. So talking about it's a good thing. But, and again, I've been there. I interviewed a kid that was in college here in Ohio, and he needed to work for a marketing company in an internship. He had to do it to be able to graduate. And he was a senior, coming up to a senior year. And he says, I said, well, are we talking paid or unpaid? He goes, oh, no, it has to be paid. And I'm like, okay. Well, how much are we talking? He's like, oh, I was thinking 20. And I go, 1,000? And he goes, no, $20 an hour. I said, dude, what?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Like, I have full-time employees that don't make that much. No, leave. Yeah. I'm not paying you $20 an hour to teach you something. No.
Sure. Yeah.
So, anyway, Auntie B says hi. She's on.
Hi.
Here. Bruce Beth Oyland.
Yeah.
Is that your aunt?
It's Madison's aunt.
Oh, Madison's aunt. Well, hello, Auntie B. So, but you know what I'm saying though? Like people do, like there's this, what's that called where people, why do I always forget that word? Probably because I can't stand it. Entitlement.
Oh, sure.
Do you see that in your business? Entitlement?
Oh gosh. All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'll share a little story that we kind of screwed up this year. We got so focused on revenue. Hey, we want to do as many jobs as possible.
Yeah.
That I let things slip a little bit with employees. I let some people get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And what happened was our really good staff started to recognize that. They said, well, if they're acting off and getting away with it, why am I working so hard?
Right.
And it was like a trickle effect.
Yep.
And so just a couple weeks ago, I just let a bunch of people go, like all the ones that should have been let go way, way long ago, because I recognized like, hey man, if I don't, like they're going to crush this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit painful to do that, but it's it's for the long haul, the right thing.
Don't you find yourself like really upset with yourself for waiting so long though?
Yeah, but at the same time, I understand because in the moment when you have, hey, we're booked out 4 weeks right now, and if I lose these 3 guys, like, how are we going to get the work done?
Even if they're doing half of the work everybody else does, it's still,
It's something,
yeah,
and so like I get it, but
yeah,
it burns you in the long run,
it does. It
you know.
stings.
So
Well,
there's no easy answer, man. Like there just
yeah,
isn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's not, and to grow, you have to have employees,
yeah.
right? And I'm sure you have some great ones. Drew Reed is on here. Says great company to work for. I assume he's talking about you.
Drew, he's an old employee of ours.
That's
He worked
awesome.
with us for a couple of years, and then he got a better opportunity. Yeah, Drew was an awesome dude, one
Yeah,
of our best guys.
Drew, you should go back.
You should. I'm
Drew,
telling you what.
get back over there, man. I see a promotion into management in your future, dude.
You never know.
So man, this is, I mean, you're 28. I wish I would. I mean, you have like it amazes me, and I've told you this since he said debating. He literally said, but you've. I know it hasn't been easy for you, but
Yeah.
you're very methodical in everything that you do. You really are. You're a client of mine,
Yep.
and I know you're putting together a training system and some things that we're going to be working on together.
Yep.
But you're also very very methodical, and you calculate everything. And from a salesperson's point of view, I don't like that.
I know, drives you nuts.
What's that?
Drives you nuts.
I know it does.
Yeah.
I've told you that. I'm like, dude,
Oh, yeah.
you're killing me. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
I know.
Like, can we do this before I turn 100?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So, but what you're doing is you're very methodical. You're careful in what you do and making sure that you're doing. And again, you can't always be positive you're doing the right thing every single
Sure.
time. It's not real. But you're very careful, and I do like that about you. I like that about you. It's a good quality to have, to make sure you're making the right, the right steps.
Can be. Yeah. Can
Yeah.
also be a bad thing sometimes too, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think like I'm better at it than I used to be, but making choices fast in business sometimes have to happen.
Yeah, right.
I've gotten a lot better at that.
Right.
But I tend to overthink things sometimes too, which is probably one of my weaknesses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's put it this way. It's kept me out of debt. It's
Sure.
done all the things that, I've wanted to do to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just why I've stuck with it. But yeah, there's pros and cons to it for sure.
Yeah. So what do you live for today? When you started the Dirt Hunter, it was you were kind of tired of working for other people. What motivates you? Because I hear people say, "Oh, my primary motivating factor in life is this," and I'm thinking, there's no way it's always been that, because it changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I got a lot of motivators, but for me, it's always been about like I've never
Oh, I lost
passionate about what we did. I just really
there. Sorry, I
Can you hear me?
I lost you there for a second. Audio was out. It was weird.
growing the Dirt Hunter, I was never passionate about what we did, but I
Right.
loved the process of building a business. Like that's what I enjoy.
Right.
With my marketing company, it's cool because I get both.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy building a business and I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing for me. And I know it's so vague, but just like doing it for your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to be like my buddy's dad. Like I want to be that guy to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be able to raise my kids in a way where, their friends are affected because
Right.
they see the way that we're living. That's it, man. Like I'm not super. I mean, I like money. Who doesn't like money?
Right.
But
Right.
I'm just a big believer. Like you do the right things and you do it consistent, the money will always follow.
Yep.
I wish I had a more like fancy answer for you, but that's it.
Dude, that's not that's as fancy as it needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in business and your only goal is money, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed. If you don't have a bigger purpose,
Sure.
right? Like maybe it's building out the processes so you can help other business people. So you're figuring that out, and you can maybe package that to help other people. Maybe it is for your family. Maybe it's for your church, your community, whatever it is. But if your only focus is money and business, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, because I think once you have it, you recognize like, and I know this because I've gotten to a certain stage where I thought like I would be satisfied.
You're not.
And you're just not.
No.
And so there's got to be something bigger that you're working towards.
That's right. And I know people that run humongous, multi-billion-dollar charity organizations.
Yeah.
That they're not happy. They're always reaching for, and I don't mean not happy as a person. I'm
Sure.
saying they're not satisfied. And
Of course.
I think that the day you become satisfied, I mean, how many times do you hear the story about the guy that works till he's 68 years old, retires, and dies within a year or two?
Sure.
Right? And it's
Yeah.
because you no longer have that drive or purpose. Going fishing every day is not, I don't know. Maybe that is a goal. It's not for me, but right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bowling.
Gosh.
No.
I'm a good bowler, man.
Huh?
I'm a good bowler.
Well, you're from Michigan, right?
I know. It's a Michigan sport.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
The ball was invented there, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Jason Howland's on here. He was, at least. He's from Michigan. He's a buddy of mine. I love that dude. But so, dude, listen. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I think the world of you and your family. You guys are awesome. Anything else you want to share with anyone?
Just go after what you want, man. Like, stop worrying about what everybody else thinks. It just doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, like, you got to do what's good for you. And I think when you become comfortable with that is when you'll see, like, you'll start to take off. That's it.
I literally said this morning, there's nothing more dangerous than a person who is indifferent. Once you stop caring, like, how many times have you, like, God, why did I care for so long what that person or that group of people thought about me?
Yeah.
Because chances are they probably weren't.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Ever.
Not like you think. Yeah.
Right. They're thinking about themselves, not you.
Yeah.
They could give two craps about what you're doing. So, dude, I think you're a great guy. You got a great business going. You're helping a lot of people, and I think that's awesome. So if anybody wants to reach out to you or get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, you can check out our marketing company, serviceindustrymarketer.com.
Okay.
Fill out the contact form. That goes right to me. So
how do they follow you?
Anywhere. Service Industry Coach on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
Same with Instagram.
Okay.
Yep.
Facebook.
If you search my name on Facebook, you're going to find a lot of me.
Right.
I've got about the most common name ever. So
Matt Smith. Because I think I said that the first time you called me. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Are you punking me? I'm like, where's the cameras?
What's funny is my wife's last name was Leelisher. And when she got married to me, it goes to Smith. And she was like, finally, I won't have to spell it. And the first person she's on the phone with asked her how to spell Smith.
Nuh-uh.
Swear.
Oh, my God. That is funny, man.
So.
Well, listen, dude, thank you so much. You're a good guy. Appreciate you jumping on here with me and doing the show.
Thanks, man.
Whoa, I just froze there for a second. Everybody, make sure you go follow Matt Smith on Facebook. Matthew Smith, look him up. He's tagged in this.
Yeah.
So follow him and follow him everywhere else too. Appreciate you, dude.
Cool, man.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.